I'm Allie, and this is When the Snow Falls, a web show where different speakers tell their own personal stories involving mental health. Today's speaker is Caitlin, and some possible triggers in her story may include anxiety and family-related stressors. As always, though, we ask you to be mindful of any personal triggers that you may have while viewing this story or any other in the future. Once you're done listening, we encourage you to submit any questions that you may have for Caitlin about her story through our blog at snowfallstogether.tumblr.com. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this story and helping to spread the message and the awareness that it's okay to talk about struggles with mental health. Thanks again, and here's Caitlin.
Hi, my name is Caitlin, and I've had quite the life growing up. It started off really easy where, my parents were married, I was the only child, and life was pretty good, just like a typical family, and things went really well. And I felt it was going to be like this my entire life. But that's obviously not the case. Life always brings us complications. When I was around 9 to 10 years old, my parents actually got divorced. And this was a big shock to me because I felt like my parents got along and we had a good relationship as a family. But then we realized that it's like, this can't go on. And my mom had good reasons for wanting the divorce. And in the end, she got custody of me. I felt more comfortable with her anyways. So, life went on. We moved into our place. My dad moved into his. And, we continued with our life as we normally would. But it wasn't until after my parents' divorce that I realized there's a lot of complications in life. I learned then that my dad's an alcoholic, and it really complicated our relationship to a point that I felt like I was walking on eggshells around him. I still was a good student, though. I still made friends. I was still close to my mom, but it really started to complicate my family life. And it got to a point where I actually had to stand up to myself in front of my dad, and it was really difficult to do so, but it was very liberating in the process because I felt like I could start to be myself, which, especially at a time when you're in middle and high school, you are trying to find yourself. And it's really, really important. And that's one of the things about my life. I've always tried to stay true to myself. And I did this all throughout high school and even coming into college. And because of the fact that I did so, college was a really easy and smooth transition for me. And I've made so many friends that I feel like are going to be lifelong friends to this day. And I'm really grateful for that. But then starting my junior year of college is when things started to really, really turn things around for me personally. I had a lot of factors going into junior year, and that's where I noticed a lot of stuff with my mental health really starting to affect me, unlike it had been before, where I was just myself. I was normal. I was functioning well. And it all started to break down around then because I went from living off campus to moving off campus. I went from living with myself and to living with a friend. And being an only child, this is a really big step for me because I was used to having my own room, having my own things, and not having to worry about it so much. And now I'm living in a shared space where I actually do have to not just watch out for myself, but for someone else. And I also went from taking 4 regular classes to 5 regular classes. And with all this, it did up my stress levels. And at first, I felt that I could handle it. I'm like, okay, I'll be fine. But I ended up starting having stress episodes in a sense where I would just break down crying and I just couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't focus on anything productive until I had gotten past it. It was, in effect, paralyzing me. It was paralyzing me to a point where, if you remember the triangle where you can pick a social life, sleep, and friends, I was effectively neglecting my friends. And it sucked. I really did not like it. So I decided that even though I had my coping mechanisms, like listening to music, talking to my family, talking to, other people, I started going to CAPS, the counseling center here on campus, more. And I was very lucky that I clicked with my first counselor. She really helped me so much and in grounding me, really, and having someone to talk to. And it started to make life easier. It started to make life more manageable. And I was able to get through the semester, with good grades. But then following the next semester, even though I was going down on my course load, I started making it a promise to see my friends more, because I realized how much of a great support system my friends were. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them. I wouldn't have been able to help myself as much as I was supposed to if it weren't for them. So I'm very grateful for their support in all of this. And the stressors, because they started to decrease, my episodes started to decrease in number as well, but that doesn't mean it wasn't there. And I was still facing them, a year later, senior year, especially around stressful times. They would start cropping up again. And when I realized that my normal coping mechanisms weren't working as well as I wanted them to, I actually started talking with my counselor and especially my mom about the possibility of medication, because my stress was affecting me more so than it really should. And it was at this time that my mom really started talking about family mental health history. As it turns out, my mom's side of the family has a history of depression, and my dad's side of the family has a history of depression, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia. And this is when it really hit me that, life is complicated in more ways than one, and I do need to seek some help for it. And so the health center on campus, they helped prescribe me a medication, and I could see the effects immediately. I started to feel like myself again. I felt like this stress wasn't taking over my life anymore. I felt like I was the young childhood self again, and that was what I ultimately wanted. I wanted to be myself and be in control of my stress instead of my stress controlling me. And so, things went well. I graduated, and the track that I was on, I actually applied and got accepted into an accelerated teaching program. And I was really excited about it because I want to be a teacher. I want to help future generations. But over the summer, I had a wonderful opportunity to actually travel to Portland, Oregon for a conference and meet other physics teachers and see more physics teaching research. And I was really grateful for it. But the other people that I went with, they were able to recover from their stress and the workload much quicker than I was. And once again, even though I was doing everything I could to help myself, my stress came back and I wasn't able to recover. And, again, I went to my usual resources and they helped me. And we actually decided to up my level of medication just a little bit to see if it would help. But because it was too little too late, we decided that it would be best for me to take a leave of absence from the program. And for the first time in my life, I started to realize that not everything comes easy. Not that I didn't realize it before, but having to drop out of something is really difficult because you can feel like you're a failure. And in some ways in the beginning, I did. But I'm realizing now that's not the case because I'm still living my life. I'm still functioning in society like a normal person. I'm still, talking with people. I'm still doing things that I need to for myself. And in fact, I was able to get a job. And in that job, in just 17 days, I was actually able to get a promotion. Not many people can say that, but it's because of the fact that I've been able to commit to the job just like I committed to my classes and to my friends and to my family, that I was able to just be myself and just learn from it and realize that this is what life will be like once I get out of classes and officially stop being a student and start being a teacher or whatever profession that I end up in. And, I'm just very grateful that I've had so many people who've been supportive of me through this whole journey. I honestly wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for them. And I could honestly see my anxiety possibly leading to depression, especially since both my parents have a history with it. So you just got to learn to figure out the warning signs for yourself and learn to just deal with it because it's only one aspect of who you are. It's not your entirety. And once you accept that, which is something that I learned early on, it makes life so much easier. And the people that are around you that see you as a true person will help you through this. They won't see it as a stigmatizing thing. And I'm just very glad that the friends that I've met have all been supportive of it, and I haven't had any friends leave me because of this. But I understand some people do. All I can say is that your true friends will support you throughout this whole endeavor. Hopefully your family will as well. But at least you can choose your friends. And that's the important part, is that even though mental health can be such a big stigmatizing thing in our society, it's not the only thing that we should be focusing on. And I went through my struggles just like I told you in my story, but they shouldn't be the only thing that you focus on. It's just one aspect of who I am. I have so many other things I enjoy. So just try and live life and just accept that it's just one part of who you are, and just support the people around you, your friends as well. And hopefully life will be better, just like it's getting better for me. So thanks.